Hello, Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network listeners. I am Jeff Hawkins, co-host of Shake Them Ropes, with a very special announcement. If it's been a while or you've never listened to us before, the original gang is back. Myself and Rob McCarran, back talking wrestling. We have no idea where this show's going to go, where we're going to keep any of the old bits or any of the old things in there. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey, and we'd like for you to come along with us. Only on Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel and joined by Damon McDonald. It is Saturday, 21st of March 2026. This is episode 402. Damon, what's going on?
It's a weekend show. Here's the thing. We normally obviously record during the week. So that was like, looking at the schedule for the Cup and all that stuff. We were like, all right, you know what, let's just hold off. And so a odd Saturday, but I was...
Well, you held off. I didn't. I had takes that needed to get out into the world, Damon. So Patreon subscribers, we've got a lovely little bonus show before the semi-finals with my pithy thoughts on a variety of topics, not just New Japan Cup, but the story that I'd say we and Voices of Wrestling did a lot of combined research on about the New Japan aggressively restocking their junior heavyweight division. So there's some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, you sent me that a few days ago, and I was very happy to hear that news because, we've always been fans of, the rising tide. Rising tide lifts all ships. Is that the saying? And trust me, I still subscribe to that. But, I feel sorry for people who are exclusively into just the grimy indies in Japan. Those people might feel a little let down here. I get it. I'm with you. We've all been there. That said, Joel, I think they picked up some really excellent choices. I think they picked some things that are really going to spice up. And again, you had mentioned that it felt like the juniors were a little bit in slop mode. And I think some of these signings will definitely spice things up, and I think across the board. So that's one thing New Japan really does well. It doesn't just go randomly, I'm signing every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and they could be on the downswing of their career. They could be, but for whatever, we're not just signing them. And WWE is guilty of that too, obviously. They're very strategic and they're very thoughtful on who they go after, and who they have their sights on. So,
how the fuck have we ended up with Dragon Diarrhea then? That's not thoughtful and strategic at all. That's rubbish.
Look, it's kind of like when there's a trade in your sport, and it's like, okay, two superstars, are swapping teams, great. But then there's always the fucking, you got to pick up the loose change, so to speak. All right, look, what are you going to do? Fine. That didn't bother me at all. And what's that costing New Japan, But I think
I heard he's working for free, actually. He's actually it's pay to play. He's actually paying New Japan.
Trust me.
So he can wrestle there. I was thinking about this thing. I was trying to think what approach is going to annoy the most people. So yeah, I've settled on poaching other smaller promotions talent is good, but not when it's Dragon Diarrhea because he stinks. That's my take.
I'm right behind you on that one. I back that one up 1,000%. I support that. But now I think just the idea that they're being they recognize the problem, and you can't always just depend upon your feeder system, right? Because for a myriad of reasons that we talked about, but I think one that sticks in the front of my mind is it takes too fucking long. To be honest with you, if you could sign a stud 30-year-old, let's go. You know, if you can make that happen, great. It instantly spice things up. And again, it doesn't happen often. It's not like this is an everyday occurrence, and they're just hoovering up anybody that they fucking can. But no, I'm excited by it, dude. I don't know how. I know that we talked about it a little bit off air, but I'm pumped for it. I thought this is probably one of the more exciting things in the past handful of years. And you guys that are penciled in right on in. Correct me if I'm wrong. Penciled right into factions, and away we go. We're ready. We're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I feel like I was asking for this on the podcast for months. You know, working harder to find and scout talent in places that other the big promotions might not be looking. So, like, you know, the Mexican indies to find guys like Kukai. I think that's where it came from anyway. And again, flexing your muscles a bit to poach talent from big promotions, but promotions that are not as big as New Japan, because this is what is being done to New Japan by the large American promotions, and that's just the pro wrestling ecosystem. We know what it's like. I'm sort of past the point of getting upset about that. It's just one of the facts of being a wrestling fan, that the big fish eat the small fish. That's okay. You know, we move on from that. But it does seem to be a marked change in policy and attitude. Like, it does seem more aggressive than usual. And I'm sort of curious to think about what has precipitated that, what has happened for someone at New Japan to go, right, okay, we've got to do something different here. We need to start recruiting talent here, because if, you know, we keep going on the way things are, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, and you've seen that in the past 6 years, though. Like, it's just kind of like the time it has taken to develop the stars, and I put that somewhat in air quotes. You know, it's been a long journey, and you know, look, I'm trying to see both sides of the story here, in the sense of, I get where, again, if you're a fan, you're not following the New Japan. It's too, you need something. You need to go a little deeper. You know, to scratch that pro wrestling itch. Okay, I get it. And there's nothing wrong with being both, to be quite honest with you. Like, you don't have to dig your heels in and be like, oh, I'm just a New Japan fan, or I'm just a fucking DDT fan, or I'm just a Pissarra fan. You can absolutely like them all. It's been, I don't want to look. We're not going to compete. We're not going to go into WWE waters, if we're using the fish analogy, and poach talent, because one, why? Like, who would we want? like who would make a dent for New Japan Pro Wrestling? And two, let's be honest here, we don't have the money to throw around like that. So again, it's okay. Who are people that can move the needle for us, and at the same time not break the fucking bank? And established names in these promotions, and even established. I mean, you got to be a little bit of a hardcore fan. Again, it's not like a million people are watching. Especially in the Western audience, are watching DDT or watching Big Japan, right? Like you really have to be a pro wrestling fan to subscribe to whatever, an IP, internet provided, TV stream, whatever, to be able to watch. And I don't know, it's a little bit of heavy. And I know some of them have streaming services. I get it. Look, I like the aggressive nature right now. I really do. I think it's a smart move, a tactical move, strategic move, that, quite honestly, I hope they do more of. I really do. And yeah, let's see where it goes. If you're a New Japan fan, it's got to put a little bit of a smile on your face.
Yeah. Let's get into the show then. So we had the New Japan Cup finals today. And you're sitting down, Damon, front of you, firing up the old New Japan world.
Yep.
Got a soft drink in one hand, rubbing your hands together. Yep. Excited, ready to watch some Shinihon Niigata Are Nagaoka Arena. 3,007 fans in attendance, good crowds. You just, can't wait for the show. Yeah. Nosuke Takeshita comes out. The NJPW World TV Champion.
Yep.
Open challenge. Mystery opponent. Could be anyone. Any wrestler on the planet. Or even a wrestler not on the planet. It could have been like an alien.
Yes.
To challenge.
Yes.
And so you are sitting there and you get like the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up because you're thinking like, what dream match is in store for you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, welcome to the House of Torture. I don't even know how the thing goes. Is it something like that? Welcome to the House of Torture. I think that's how it goes. If not, that's how it should go. And out comes our boy, Yujiro Takahashi.
Well, first it was Chase. And I laughed out loud. I was like, wow.
Yeah, because he's been teasing that on social media. So, you know what, actually? We got to hand it to him there. That is a great swerve because that's probably the only way that would have got us Shinihon freaks happy and excited about Yujiro Takahashi, because we all thought, oh fuck, it's Chase Owens, but then oh no, it's Yujiro. By comparison, that's good. That's a plus.
There you go.
That's a net positive.
Yeah, you know what? Good for him. You know what? Maybe he even threw that rock paper scissors gimmick. Maybe he just said, you know what? I'm fucking lying down for this. Go ahead.
I think he's smarter than people give him credit for. You know.
Maybe.
I think he is very good at pushing the buttons of rabid fans like us and knowing exactly how to wind us up.
Come on. Yes. Yeah, of course. But yes, I can't say that it was it was good though. Like the crowd was definitely like, all right, Yujiro, we want it. And then, you're kind of like, all right, fuck it, I'm in. I mean, look, I don't think that anybody in the arena or Planet Earth, or not even Planet Earth, Joel, thought we were going to see a title change here. And it was let's be honest, opening match, open challenge. You flew the fucking guy in, and you're thinking, all right, or we're going to kick off this show a little hot. I don't think anybody was excited. Let's say that.
No, he's the hometown hero.
I know.
And the crowd were into him.
Yeah.
And he was way better than anyone expected him to be against Shota Umino in the earlier state. What was it? The second round quarterfinal, whatever it was. And this might just be me putting on the clown makeup as the Shinihon freak idiot fan. But I feel they're doing something with Yujiro here. Not to the extent that, like, I don't think they are pushing him or elevating him. Like, I'm not, Yujiro is going to be in the G1. But I feel he may become a narrative vehicle to some kind. I know sounds insane.
It kind of does. I'm dying to know where it goes.
A narrative progression with House of Torture, where there's Shota Umino did this whole build up for their match, saying like, he used to play baseball with me, and whatever it was. I don't know. I didn't watch it, but him having this like Shota Umino like using his sincerity and his emotional connection and his heart to try and like pull Yujiro back to the light side. Not because he thinks like Yujiro is a great wrestler or anything, but just like for that to be like the first chink in the armor for House of Torture, the first card to be pulled out of the proverbial house of cards, that might bring the whole thing tumbling down. I feel there's going to be a war for the soul of Yujiro Takahashi, and we're in on the ground floor here. I think they've definitely got something here, and you may very well scoff and laugh. This is on par in terms of insane ramblings with our friend Josh from WeWork Stiff fantasy booking Taichi to go to the Japan Cup final, whatever it was he did. This is as mental, but I think there's something there. He's getting reactions, and I don't know. Tell me I'm mad, but that's if I have one vain hope for this year in New Japan, just one little throwaway thing would be like that would be a cool story to me.
All right, fair enough. I think what you're saying, though, is a company who's acknowledging his existence and that he's a pro wrestler on their roster. And any sort of light that is shined on him may seem like it is the brightest of suns. I just think it's just a thing right now, I hope. I don't think anybody really wants a I know. Well, I mean, maybe people do. I can't speak for everybody. I just find it hard to believe that in the year 2026 we're pining for that. But okay, he had a little moment. They gave him something to do. Well, I mean, what was the last thing he's been involved in any way, shape, or form when it comes to like House of Torture stuff? Like, give me one angle. Give me one deeper cut. Give me one, something. This is like the first thing that he's been involved in what feels like 2 years. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I do the Men in Black memory wipe every time anything happens in House of Torture, so right. I'm actively trying to forget it, but yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's what I got. And trust me, like when it was revealed and the House of Torture entrance music popped on in the video screen, and I was like, oh, what in the fuck are we doing here? Because it was a letdown. But let's be honest here. It wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't terrible. I'm not going to go so far as to say this was great or even very good. I thought it was good. It was fine. They gave Yujiro something to do at the right hometown. Right? They gave the guy something to do. I think it's a one-off. I'm just kind of blown away by the fact that they would fly a guy in for that purpose. And I don't even know if it was that purpose. Maybe he was flown in for, I don't know, maybe he's going to fucking his cousin's wedding. Who the fuck knows?
Takeshita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're flying him in for that? I'm like, fucking Walker Stewart doesn't have a fucking another suit. He has one suit, and they're flying in Takeshita for that? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
How long is it until Sakura Genesis? It's April 4th. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if he doesn't appear on AWTV for the next couple of weeks, then maybe he's just sticking around until Sakura Genesis, because he called out Shota Umino at the end of this match, if I'm not mistaken.
I would honestly, if he's not there, staying there, like if he flew back home for that, God bless. Hopefully Tony picked up a little bit of that fare, that flight, because it seems like a colossal waste of money. But hopefully he'll stay there. And why do I care about New Japan's books for the flights? Who cares? If they want to spend it, spend it. Who fucking cares?
Hey, here's a question here from Andrew on the topic that says, is it safe to say that Don Farley and Yujiro Takahashi are the two best heavyweights in House of Torture, and Narrator's Calling is making those miserable salarymen YouTube videos that Damon likes to watch? Also, can you tell Damon that much like Red Narrator, many of those miserable salarymen are now frauds? It's become a lucrative business to pretend to be a salaryman with a miserable life on YouTube to solicit donations.
Ooh, that's a interesting thing. There are a lot of them, and every time I pop one of them on, again, I've talked many times about my nighttime routine, and we pop one of them on, and my wife's like, oh, what miserable fuck is this? Is this a new one, or is it the same old miserable jerk off? I'm like, no, and then I got to be like, that's the same one we saw this week, or it's a new one. I didn't know that was it. It's all work, huh?
Yeah, it's a grift, yeah.
Huh. Okay. Like, there's one. I mean, they have different levels, Joel. Of you watch them, right? You know,
but I'm curious to know, like, what element of it is falsified. Like, is it that is actually what their lifestyle is like, but secretly they actually love it, or they've got a completely different life? Like, are they actors or something? They're not even Japanese. They're living like penthouse apartments with like beautiful wife and kids, and their day job is going out and recording the life of a salaryman. I'd love someone to pull back the curtain and explain this to me.
Yeah, I need an expose on this this corner of the YouTube market. Yeah, it could, because here's the thing too. If you notice, you never really see their faces, right? Because they're bitching and moaning about their jobs, so I'm sure they don't want to get pinched. So you never see their faces. You see their feet walk in. You see the food they eat. The soba noodles, and how exhausted they are and how much they hate life, and the train commute. But you never see them go into their jobs, and you never see their face. And you never hear the voice.
Episode where it will catch their reflection in a mirror.
Oh, yeah.
It's Dragon Dyer.
That would be something else. There you go. That explains why they signed him, though. Did we talk about who they signed yet? Did we mention?
Okay, so Dragon Dyer, Kukai. Yeah. I've heard unconfirmed rumors of Fuminori Abe.
That's the one.
And I've also, there was a couple of guys from Basara, but I can't remember their names. But
okay.
you listener probably you wouldn't have heard of them, so it's fine. And also, I've heard rumors of Yutani from CMLL coming in. Not necessarily as a junior. I don't know if he's a junior or not. He's very tall, but he's also quite lean. So I don't know where they would figure him in, and if that's going to be like a long-term thing or just like short-term thing, kicking the tires. But I think he'd be really successful in New Japan. But yeah, those are the names that I've heard so far.
Yeah, the Abe one's the one I think I'm most excited. I remember seeing him, and again, you know me, my memory's shit. But I want to say it was a big Japan show when I was over there. So, and if he's in his he's late 20s, early 30s, so that's the sweet spot.
30s, I think. Yeah.
Okay, sweet spot for a pro wrestler. It feels like. Yeah, I'm down with that. Okay, I just wasn't sure because I know we talked a lot about it, but we never really mentioned who it was. Who we've heard. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, salaryman thing, bullshit. Blah 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 blah. I'm
interested. Udro, best heavyweights in House of Torture. Where are you at with Red Narrator at the moment?
Can I ask a dumb question here? Are we judging off of output or potential?
Output. I mean, you can throw potentially in there. I don't know how much.
Don't really care. Yeah, I mean, we have no rules. We're running one other than that. I think Ren is okay in his role of what he does. Again, it's
what role? Are we talking
monster, tiny monster heel? That's what he feels like to me.
Yeah, like little goblin, horrible mid card heel. Yeah. Yes, main event heel, leader of a major faction. No,
right? Yeah,
you can't just copy paste the evil booking. That's not on the card for him because it's not going to work. He's not that good.
Right now, again, I think the gimmick to me is both the smartest thing for a pro wrestler and also I feel like kind of easier than, again, to be the jerk off dastardly I wanted to say evil, but I wanted to pull back. Just that little. Again, he's a mini monster. He wants to be a monster, but he's not a monster. With the weapons. And we all know this whole deal. I think he's good at what he does. I don't think this is blow away. We're entering Abdul the Butcher era, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, he's fine at what he does. Now, again, that doesn't necessarily mean that I think he's somebody I want to tune in for. Not really, to be honest. But again, I think that's mostly the role that he's playing and not necessarily him. Because I don't think he's a shit pro wrestler. By all means. I just think that, he's handcuffed. What the fuck is he going to do? He's doing shit that, quite honestly, all right, it might put years on his career. Who knows? Maybe he's the smartest guy in the fucking room, Joel. It just feels like there's so much more he could be doing, but okay, that's where he is.
Yeah, I feel there isn't much more he could be doing. I feel he's the danger with him is if New Japan tried to push him outside of his lane, never champion, that should be it. I don't want to see Ren Narrator in no G1 final or any world title challenges. Although having said that, he was in world title challenges last year, and it wasn't terrible.
No,
it just wasn't very good. Wasn't very memorable. So, occasional challenger, but that's it. Please, thank you. No more than that from Ren Narrator.
Yeah, I mean, if you could like you like to say Men in Black and House of Torture was never there. it never happened, I think he'd be in a good spot. I think he'd be, one of the guys that are in the mix. And to be very clear, he's in the mix. He's just doing shit that we're not particularly fond of. Really, that's honestly how I look at him. I look at him as a guy that's like, all right, you're handcuffed with this fucking gimmick, dude. Now you could take it as a positive of, hey, you're leading a fucking faction, and you're going to be in the mix. Okay, doesn't necessarily give me goosebumps thinking about him in the mix, but again, it's not him; it's the fucking role that he's playing, and the role is handcuffing, and it's stifling. But again, if you want to be a positive person and look at it as, hey, he's leading a fucking faction. Did we ever sit here and think that Ren Narita would be a guy that would be leading a faction? No,
yes, but the strong style faction that consisted of 3 people.
Right. Okay, good point. Holy shit, remember that one? Wow. Yeah, there was some troubling times in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and that wasn't that long ago. So yeah, okay. Oh well. So, and here's the thing too, though. New Japan isn't really great at pivoting. To like, they have an idea, we're going to pivot to a better idea. They just fucking forget it exists. They just say, okay, fuck it, we don't care. I mean, how many things just in the
like Jonathan Frakes on that thing that it never happened. It's a lie.
Exactly.
It's a complete fabrication.
Right. So it's like, just in the time that we've been doing this show, there's been so many instances of that. So, yeah. All right. Ren Narita. There you go.
One other little tidbit from the undercard here. There was a moment with Kosei Fujita squaring up to Yota Tsuji, which I'm filing away for the future because I put it to you, Damon McDonald, that it is only a matter of time before Huge Fuge is a heavyweight and heavyweight champion.
Get on that gas. Get on the gas.
A bowl of pasta.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Certainly not pharmaceuticals. I think everybody likes him. I think everybody sees that if he's not the top of the rung when it comes to the juniors, then okay, or let me take that back. If he is the top of the rung in the juniors, then the next progression would be lovely to see would be that. I don't know what Hiroshi Tanahashi weight training program he needs to be put on. I'm down for it.
He's pretty big already. I don't think he would look out of place in the heavyweight division.
Like right now?
Yeah, he's not. He's not a million miles away.
I mean, he's not fucking. Would you say? When I see him now, and I'm trying to get a comparable of a junior before they move to heavy. Is he like pre-creatine Will Ospreay? Size-wise?
No, he's not.
Okay, so you think he's bigger than pre-protein shake Will Ospreay?
Yes. Post excursion Okada, he's got that kind of athletic, like swimmer's physique.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking. It's a swimmer's physique. I guess, let's be honest here. Zach is just more tall than he is fucking, he's not like he's. Look at us, the body podcast here. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm talking like I'm fucking Bruce Pritchard or something. I need more size. That's what my wife says. Yes. I don't know. I'm kind of under the umbrella of, and it's not like he can't do it. Like let's be very clear too. I like to see him get a little beefier, if you don't mind. Again, nothing much. I'm not asking for. I don't want him to turn into fucking Dino Bravo, right? The warlord. Just a little bit of size, a little bit, couple. You know what? When he goes out to the ramen shop, get the extra noodles. That's all I'm saying. Get the extra noodles with it.
All right, well, let's move on to the actual New Japan Cup itself. Do you want to do finals and work backwards, or do semis and go in chronological order?
Semis. Yeah, let's go chronological.
Yeah. Let's do that. That's a good idea, Damon.
Thanks, man.
Friday,
Thanks.
March the 20th, Niigata. The first semi-final was Yuya Uemura defeating Boltin Oleg in 19 minutes, 27 seconds with a high cross.
So, before we recorded, we were kind of discussing the cup. And I made mention that, we're going to... It's what we do. Like, this is what the podcast does, is that if things have gone astray, or we're doing match by match, we're doing show by show, and there's things that stand out both positive and negatively, of course we're going to fucking mention it and talk about it. That's what we do. That's why you listen. And trust me, we were off the rails. At some of the stuff, you're just shaking your head and you're like, what in the fuck? Aaron Wolf being probably our biggest what the fuck's happening here. We got to where we needed to be. I think the right people were in the semifinals, right? You had 4 people that this company is banking on to help take them to the future. And I think all 4 needed to be in the spots that they were in. So let me just say that right up front. I think New Japan, no matter how we got there, and again, some may agree, some may disagree, some may, squint at the idea of some of the shit. Some people might be standing up on their chairs and be like, okay, no matter what, we got there, we got to where we needed to be. I feel like the right people were in there. This match, that being said, 2 things that kind of stand out to me. Once again, I'm not 100% sold on Oleg being 100% ready for these type of singles matches. And let me explain. There were times, again, when you have 2 guys in there that are roughly similar experience in the ring, you're relying on each other to kind of get you out of jams, right? Where things might start to fall apart a little bit. And by no means was there any point in this match where it was like completely unraveling, right? But there were times where, okay, things just kind of felt disjointed and misplaced. That being said, I thought they wound up having a good match, solid match. But I was just like, this is like the 3rd time I think I'm saying this about him, and I don't know if I'm there with him yet. Especially given the minor pushes that it feels like he's had. Like they mentioned on the commentary how strong his 2026 is when it came to winning titles and getting wins and all that. And yeah, I mean, it does feel like he's having a year. I don't know if I'm sold 100% on him yet, Joel. How are you feeling about the Boltin Oleg?
I will echo your sentiments in as much as I thought they put themselves into a position where it was win-win. Like when I saw the Final Four, I was like, well, I had the guy that I wanted to win, but there weren't any bad options. Like they could have run with any of those guys winning the cup, and I would have been happy with that, which I think is something worth celebrating. So big picture stuff here. Like I'm really encouraged by the fact that they have elevated these 4 guys. Well, I mean, I say elevated. I mean, Shota's had plenty of opportunities, but certainly for the other 3, like this is the biggest stuff that they've done in their careers so far. So that's really encouraging to me. And with all the wrestlers that have left the company, they didn't really have a choice. But still, now that it's happened, given that this is exactly what I was calling for like a year ago, these are the wrestlers that I wanted to see elevated. Now that they're here, this is exciting. And I think I was quite impressed with across the board how calm they were. Like given for the most part, their lack of proper big match experience, the way that they were able to flesh out and execute some big, lengthy main event style matches was really impressive to me, given that I don't have a huge amount of experience doing so historically with New Japan.
Right. Yeah.
I really like Oleg style. Like he's just like a big, angry bear. And I like the way he plays to his strengths, and he'll catch people in midair, and when he does that sort of timing and execution is very, very impressive to me. I would like to see what matches look like where he's in control, because it just seems like all the matches that he's in that are longer than about 15 minutes follow the same formula of his opponent picking a body part and he's sort of working from beneath and kind of firing back. The match is punctuated with those comeback spots of him doing a big power move, where I'd love to see what heel Oleg Boltin looks like. Not like cheating heel, but with him being put in the same sort of role as like an Oscar is, in terms of the layout of the match, where he's in control and he's leading the match. I'm really curious to see what that would look like, because as things stand, whenever he's in a big match like this, they do feel a bit samey in terms of the layout of them. Right. But all the same, I thought this was a really enjoyable match. And with Yuya as a darts partner, I know what to expect with Yuya at this point, where there's going to be a lot of methodical build-up where he works over the other guy's arm, and then that pays off really nicely in the latter stages of the match. So it's very satisfying to watch when he does that. Yeah. But I just for Oleg, I want to see him put in more spots like that against different kinds of wrestlers, against wrestlers who are not going to wrestle that sort of match. I would love to see what Oleg versus Shota Umino match looks like, or Oleg versus Shingo or something like that, where we're working a different pace and a different style of match to this, because I think this was just more of the good stuff that we have seen from Oleg Boltin so far, but without necessarily showing us anything new, if that makes sense.
1,000%. 1,000% agree. Yes. You're getting, again, we're putting some bigger spotlights on him. And some of this stuff does feel like safe for him, in the sense of this is what he knows, this is what he's comfortable with. So, and I'm not even saying that like in a year's time, or maybe longer, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I think you're going to see a much different guy 2 years from now. Let's put it that way. And when I say much different, I just mean amplified what you got, and then some expansion, right? Some broadening. So, yeah, trust me, I'm not saying at all that I don't think he doesn't have it. I'm just saying, as we are right now, yeah. It's not quite all together, but let's give it time. I'm with you on that.
He just needs more reps, doesn't he? Like more matches like this against a variety of opponents and working G1 Climax and things like that. That's the way he's going to improve. But again, I'm just thrilled that they put him in the semi-final in the first place, because I could have easily seen him losing to Ren Narita, and he didn't, and that's good.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yuya. I've said it before on this very show, and I've said it to you privately as well. I think he's a guy. Like, I feel like he's just an ass hair away of breaking through. I don't know. There's something like he's a pro wrestler to me. Let me take that back. He is a modern Japanese pro wrestler. Like, I don't want to sound like fucking JBL here. If I was going to build a pro wrestler, Joe, I think he's it. Like, I think he's your guy. I really do. I think without sounding silly, could you see him being like the face of the company?
He ticks all the boxes, doesn't he?
It feels like he does.
He's got the good looks, and he can wrestle the style, absolutely. And it's a different kind of style. Like I said before, I'd be repeating myself at this point, but it's more of technical wrestling and working body parts and more of a sort of thoughtful approach to wrestling than just sort of flashy spot fests.
Yep.
I like that about him. That's his vision of pro wrestling. He sticks to it, and it's very satisfying to watch when it pays off in the end of the match, and he's starting to build that connection with the crowd. there's just something lacking about him. It's just that, as you say, like the sandpaper, those rough edges, that he seems a bit thick, Damon.
Like dumb or body wise?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Have you looked at his SAT scores? I don't know. I don't know. Well, give me the rationale behind that statement, Joel. Because I don't like you feel that his style is emblematic of the fact that he's low IQ. Okay. I don't understand.
He's the golden retriever, and he's just always happy. And
okay,
I want to see a wider range of emotions from Yuya Uemura. I want to see what a sad Yuya Uemura looks like, or a really cross Yuya Uemura, and he's kind of dipped his toes into that. And I hope that in being unsuccessful in this New Japan Cup, that we might see more of that, because that's the only thing that's lacking, is just a bit of, I'd say, emotional range and narrative sandpaper. Let's see him go through. And I hate to be the person that is flying the flag for the typical New Japan style of booking, which is everyone has to suffer to progress. Learning through adversity. Someone put a question about that. Troy said, "Is Tanahashi's grand plan as president to make Hontai guys suffer for years?" He's talking about Wato, Shota, and Yuya. Well, yeah. I want to see more suffering from Yuya. I want to see him going to the depths of misery and despair and see how that changes him. Because,
well, it's working for another guy.
If this was incidental, and I'm kind of sort of talking about the final here when we're supposed to be talking about the semi-final, but him doing the high fly flow, which is Tanahashi's move, and then getting kicked in the face as a result of that, I was wondering, is there a bit of the Tetsuya Naito failed Stardust press thing going on, where it's like he's not being true to himself, or he's got to come up with something different, like trying to be the golden boy and copy the signature moves of the ace is only going to get you so far. Maybe I'm just reading too much into that. We do that as New Japans, don't we? We do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to the narrative arcs of these wrestlers. But that's all that's lacking for me, to be honest, for Yuya Uemura, because I think in terms of the in-ring stuff, he's got it down pat. I enjoy it more when he's up against wrestlers who push him to those extremes. And yeah, but the more of that, the better.
Of those four guys right now, do you have an emotional attachment to any of them? Like, I feel like
yes.
Okay, because I'm struggling with that, and that's really the biggest thing I have right now, and I think that's more due to the booking, and I think that can come in time. Like, I feel like the emotional connection that I have is these are young guys fighting their way for a share of the pie, right? And at every step of the process, I'm along with it, but I don't know if I have that I'm on the edge of my chair, pumping my fist, Joe Lanza pacing mode yet. And will that come? And can it come? And should it come? I truly believe yes. But I don't know if I'm right there right now. Like, I'm like during this cup, like it wasn't like I watched the cup and I enjoyed the cup. But I can't sit here and lie and tell you that I was on the edge of my chair, fist pumping, screaming at the top of my lungs or even mid-range in my lungs. That's not there yet. And it will be. I truly believe it. It just wasn't there yet. So I don't know if I do have an emotional connection to any one of these guys yet. But
have we been given a reason?
Correct.
To connect with Yuya specifically? Like,
Correct.
What are the memorable moments for Yuya Uemura's career so far? Him getting his head shaved,
right?
Possibly the injury he suffered against Tsuji during the G1.
I mean, okay. But okay, so now we're talking about Hanare's career span. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're right though. Right, and that's why I'm kind of like, okay, just cool your jets, Damon. Like it's coming. Like don't.
And that's why, like him losing a New Japan Cup final, I think we're on the right track there, right? We need to start telling some stories with Yuya Uemura, because like Heat Storm, what is that? What's that giving? That's what I mean when it's a bit thick. Like, who's come up with that idea? What is that? Who are you as a character? What makes you tick? What makes you angry? What makes you upset? What are you fighting for? What makes you rage? You know, those are the kind of things that you want to be able to be in tune with your favorite New Japan wrestlers. But yeah, the gimmick is a bit nebulous, and we're lacking the emotional connection because I think there's an absence of kind of narrative milestones for this guy.
Right. And you don't have like he's not an ultimate anything yet. You know, that's going to take time. Like, will he eventually be an ultimate babyface? I think it's there. But you're right. We're not like, there's nothing to get emotional over, right? What are we emotional over yet? So yeah, I feel you on that. So yeah, again, was I on the edge of my chair? No, but they're doing the right. I guess they're doing the right thing, right? I guess they're doing the right thing. All right. What you think of the match?
You against Oleg?
Yeah,
I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, me too.
Like I said, I think they were good. Clash of styles. It felt like a proper fight, like a real struggle for not just who's going to win the match, but who's going to grab that brass ring to be one of the top guys in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I think one thing that they both do really well is selling an authentic sense of struggle, that it's not just moves flowing smoothly into one another, that it feels, for example, with Yuya, that he's got to fight tooth and nail and really claw and scratch his way to land all those moves, particularly in the tail end of the matches where he's trying to land like the dragon suplex and the deadbolt suplex and things like that. So yeah, I thought it really came across as like a genuine struggle with two guys who really wanted this more than anything in the world, and that came across. I thought it was great drama, really, really good near falls. I thought the way it was going, Oleg was just really unloading everything, and a lot of near falls there that he was kicking out of stuff that I thought he was done. I thought he was toast. So yeah, they did very well with that, and yeah, I thought there was an adequate sense of drama there. But again, it's just the two guys who are at the start of their New Japan journeys, and yeah, just more spots like this, more stories, and we'll get there.
I think it started a little slow, and I think intentionally so, because I think they were going. You know, I could be wrong, and I don't want you to look it up, but this feels like it was like one of the longer singles matches for both of these guys. So again, maybe it was a pacing thing, what have you. But I thought the closing stretch was pretty solid, right? Like you could see how these guys, okay, and it didn't feel paint by numbers. Let's do a New Japan Pro Wrestling match. You know what I mean? Like it felt genuine and organic. But they put together a nice, real nice closing stretch that to be honest, I was into. So I don't know. I feel like this show and the finals as well. Like it was one of those things where it's like, okay, it's not 100% we're back, baby, jumping up and down, but I might feel more comfortable than I did before the cup, and to me, it's almost like I'm investing. You know, I might not. You know, I'm not going to get a payoff tomorrow. It's not going to be fucking Bitcoin. Like, I don't want Bitcoin pro wrestling. Does that make any sense? Like, I want S&P 500. I want slow and steady. You know what I mean? Like I kind of want that, and I don't necessarily need. Let's raise the roof and go on. Especially with these four guys. Like, do I want a pace to like? Am I excited for the future for them? Yes. But I think this was, again, one of those stepping stone moments. So, again, to get back to the match, I really did like the closing stretch. So, thumbs up there.
If you need something quick and convenient like my family does, my ultimate high-protein dinner hack is grabbing pre-marinated steak tips and making them extra crispy and charred in the air fryer, while the inside stays juicy and medium rare. I can't say enough about the convenience of Omaha Steaks. Thanks to them, I always have the highest quality proteins on hand. Enjoy exceptional flavor in the convenience of Omaha Steaks during their spring savings event. Omaha Steaks is your weeknight win. And right now, you can get the world's best everyday protein during their spring savings event. Go to omahasteaks.com for an extra $35 off when you use promo code YUM at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to omahasteaks.com to shop their spring savings event and use promo code YUM at checkout for an extra $35 off. Minimum purchase may apply.
And the other semi-final in the show was Callum Newman defeating Shota Umino, 30 minutes and 3 seconds with a Princess Curse. We will be talking a lot about Callum Newman later, I suppose, when we talk about the final. So maybe this would be a good opportunity to focus on Shota Umino, who I think out of these four, I think he's the best wrestler out of the four. I think he might even be a better wrestler than Yota Tsuji, which might be sacrilege to say. But I say at the very least, Shota Umino is starting to understand who he is now. And I think he has been very, very good since he shaved his head, basically. And I think when he understood that something wasn't working and he needed to do something, and he did change it. He might not have changed the gear or the hair or the entrance theme, but the wrestling style, to me, changed dramatically from around last year's New Japan Cup onwards. And I remember being absolutely thrilled with the final that he had against David Finlay. And from that point on, I think he's been really, really good. And people have not been giving him the flowers that he deserves, because I think people get hung up on two things. One, the presentation, the window dressing, like I said, the gear, the music, the hair, the things like that. And also people wanting to stick with their preconceived notions. Like they've said from the start, oh, this guy's a bust. He hasn't got that dog in him. He's playing pro wrestler, blah, 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 blah. That's the take. They've got to stick by that take. And recognizing and acknowledging any change or progression is some kind of fail state for a lot of people who talk about wrestling, where I embrace that. I love being wrong about wrestlers, where new evidence comes to light and I think, well, no, actually, but the opinion that I had before is not accurate anymore, because this wrestler has changed. Now he's doing different things. And I think I said that about a year ago about Shota Umino, and now people are starting to come round. It seems that the consensus is starting to shift on him, where people are actually waking up and coming around to my side and thinking, yeah, you know what? Joel was right. He is actually a really, really good wrestler. The tag run that he had with Yuya, I think, has done a lot of good for him as well. And I think it's just the wrestling style, that he's a big dude. He's a thick, muscular boy, and he leans into that, and he hits hard. And I think through that tag run, he started to feel the acceptance, and dare I even say the love of the crowd. And I think he's feeding off of that, and is becoming he looks a lot more confident, a lot more comfortable. And he's faced his shortcomings head on. And that great promo that he had a few weeks ago, where he was saying, I know I'm not cool and I'm a loser and I've fucked everything up to this point, but I don't care. I'm still going to keep going. I'm still going to fight. And I think that's won a lot of people over. So the Shota Umino that I see now, I think he is approaching his final form. And he's got the crowd behind him. There seemed to be none of that rejection towards him that we felt in previous years. And I just thought he was outstanding. He's just a great foil for people like Callum Newman, because Shota Umino, whatever you might say about him, he's very sincere, isn't he? He's very earnest, and he just goes out there, leaves it all on the line, and he fights his heart out. And just the little things that work in his favor, like when he gets bloodied up and he wipes the blood off and smears it on his chest, and when he finds that passion and he's roaring and screaming, and that feels authentic to me. It doesn't feel like he's putting that on. It feels like this is a guy who has genuinely gone through a very real struggle, both in the sort of kayfabe wrestling sense, and probably emotionally as well, because it can't be nice to be rejected by the fans, and being a Wrestle Kingdom main event that's critically panned. Even though I don't think the match was bad, it was a good match. It just wasn't the right match for that spot. And yeah, I'm just loving Shota Umino at the moment, Damon. I thought this was his time. I was excited. I thought he was going to win the New Japan Cup, but strangely, I feel myself enthused by him losing in this spot because I think there's bigger things in his future than the New Japan Cup. I'm starting to wonder now, could he be an early favourite for the G1 Climax?
Wow.
Given that, I think he's got the fans on side. I think bell to bell, he's, for me, one of the most exciting wrestlers in New Japan. And I feel that he has been through those struggles and those kind of narrative milestones that the other guys we've been talking about haven't. That he's been to the Wrestle Kingdom main event and been rejected. He's been to a New Japan Cup final and lost. He's been to a New Japan Cup semi-final and lost. He's been in all these big spots, World Tag League final, and just failure after failure after failure. He's a specialist in failure. And we reached this interesting point here with this New Japan Cup where he failed and people seemed disappointed about it. People were upset. They're like, oh man, what a bummer.
Yeah.
Really wanted Shota to win, which to me suggests that they're onto a winning recipe here. Now, it's a fine line, isn't it? Because you can only do that for so long before
Thank you. Yes.
the perception becomes reality and he becomes Hiroki Goto.
Yep.
So they've got something here, but they can't drag it out for too long because if he keeps losing in big spots, he's going to lose the faith of the crowd. Yes.
Yep. Then why root for him? Right. I think when we talked earlier about, okay, so like where is the emotion that you're attaching to a wrestler that you're hitching on the wagon and going, and when you look at the ride that not only he's been on, but we've been on as well, when it comes to Shota. And I want to be clear, I don't think any of this was premeditated. It's not like they went into fucking Wrestle Kingdom and said, okay, we're going to book this, this main event because we know it's going to, give, fans are going to give it a thumbs down and we're going to, we want them to boo when he shows up in the ring and makes, challenges. And, like, I'm sure none of that was just like, yeah, this is what we always want. No, it wasn't. But it is an amazing thing how real life helps dictate the path that a pro wrestler will go on to find his groove. It's kind of remarkable. Like if you sit back and you look at this for that whole span to that time frame to where we are now, it is quite an amazing journey. Even if he said today, I'm retiring, I'm done. Right? It's really a wild arc that he's on here. And you're right. I mean, look, you could sit there and give me Callum Newman and say, you know what? Here's a guy who's, you couldn't find, he was on a fucking carton of a milk. You had nowhere where he was. They weren't doing anything with him. And, you remember wrestlers tweeting out, give him time. And, he's amazing, but he's young and he's, barely able to legally drink, for crying out loud. And I get that. But to me, look, Joel, you know as well as I do. Like if I hear any whiff of anything negative toward this show, I'm ready to take a shotgun and start blasting people's heads off. Right? I can't imagine being him and just being subjected to the vileness and the hate that was coming his way for a long time. Again,
Damon, I know I've talked to wrestlers who have said that he was having a really hard time with it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and here's the thing too, though, Joel. Like we've heard stories of guys turning down what on paper seems like opportunities because they didn't feel like they were ready. Right? We've heard this in very recent history. And I wouldn't be surprised if even he was kind of like, "Are you sure?" Like I don't know about this. The bitterness that people who watched the product felt toward him was more the company's fault than it is his fault. Was he ready for that spotlight? No. But they put him in it. You know? Like they booked the fucking show. He wasn't ready. And I think in hindsight, and probably not even in hindsight, probably even at the time, he was probably saying to himself and to others vocally, I ain't ready for this shit. But he did it. And of those 4 guys, like, he's the guy that has been through hell and back. And it is like, if there's of all 4 of those guys, if I have any emotional attachment to anybody, it's probably him, because he's finding it and he's becoming more comfortable in his own skin. You think he was comfortable going out there, giving out those kids were looking at him like he was a madman. like he was he was handing out candy in a van. Like those kids were looking at him. Like it just
look on his face when he was driving out of the Tokyo Dome on that ridiculous motorcycle.
Oh God!
Like to drive it into the Tokyo Bay,
right? Seriously,
main event of Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh, he was praying that the fucking motorcycle would explode and him on it. Fucking, I mean, seriously, he's driving around that goddamn Tokyo Dome in a motorcycle, and I put that in air quotes, doing what? 15 miles an hour lap, or what the fuck?
And there was at least one person in his ear telling him, no, this is good. You've got to do this. You've got to do this. It will be really good. Trust me. And he's like, fucking hell.
Well, right. Right. Like, let's put ourselves in this poor guy's fucking shoes. It's not like he went out there and was like, hey, I got a good idea. I'm going to get a motorcycle. No. And again, we go back to the fucking Moxley stuff and, him kind of milking that for what it was worth. He's tried a lot of different fucking things to get where we are now, and it's been quite an amazing journey. And one last thing I do want to bring up. I don't know about you, Joe, but at least when I was younger and while he was still on this earth, there was something about pleasing your father, and there is something about pleasing and making him proud of you, right? I think every child has that. And especially when you work in the same fucking company and dad has a little bit of stroke. It had to be pretty awkward. It had to be pretty awkward. And again, you get jealousy from other wrestlers. Wrestlers can be fucking petty people. I mean, beyond like high school, grade school bullshit, like petty. The guy went through fucking hell. Now, you could sit there and be cold-hearted and say, well, he could have just fucking walked away. Nobody, he knew what he was doing. I say let him crash. I don't know. If you had, if you kind of put yourself and look at all of that, well, what happened to the dude? I don't know. Like I'm actually thrilled for him, and of all those guys, where am I getting the emotional attachment? If it's anywhere, it's going to be there.
So, are you with me in Shota Umino being an early favourite for G1, or do you not see him at that level? Because I thought that Shota versus Yotsuji would be a fitting main event for a Sakura Genesis. Mm-hmm. But it might be fit for a venue even bigger than that. Because I was saying when I did the solo audio on Patreon that it's a really interesting clash of stories between Tsuji and Shota Umino, where Tsuji has been but like the cool dude, and he's essentially the golden boy of the company, even though he's a bit of a rebel and says things that pisses people off. When it comes down to it, he's been given the best booking, winning the New Japan Cup, being in the semi-main event at the Tokyo Dome, beating Konosuke Takeshita, being the savior of the company, gets to bring the belt back, wrestling cool matches against cool dudes. Whereas Shota Umino has just eaten shit and been stitched up by the booking.
Right.
So it's a really interesting clash of stories between the two wrestlers that I'm wondering, would that be appropriate for a Tokyo Dome main event? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, I mean, like you mentioned it, and my first thought was, I don't know. But, okay, if not him, who? I don't think there's anybody else that's positioned better than him to win it. I mean, honestly, Zach? Again? I don't know. I mean, could we do a double dip of a cup and a G1 for Callum? I don't think they would go that route. Look at the people who've, I think there's a method to their madness. There always is a method to their madness. We might not agree with it, but there's a method to their madness. Like, who else? Yuya? Trust me, I think it's between those two. And I think Shota's probably, I would lean a little bit heavier on to be the guy. Know what I would really want?
A three-way.
No, stop it. You silly goose. Now, would you be upset with Yuya and Shota final G1?
Well, that's what I was thinking, because I thought that's what they were building to with this New Japan Cup, with the tag partners clashing in the final. But again, that would be brilliant in a narrative sense for the G1 Climax final, with just this generation of young, hungry guys desperate to take the reins and lead New Japan into the future, and seeing how all that plays out. That would be really compelling to me. That was the final I wanted. So when I was watching Shota versus Callum, like I said, I wasn't like frothing at the mouth, getting annoyed at the outcome. I was upset that Shota lost, and I like that. I like that I was sad about that, because I was disappointed. I was like, oh, fuck, I really wanted to see him against Yuya in the final. And if I'm thinking that, the companies probably think, I hope the company's thinking that as well. And I hope that they're saving it for something big. Because yes, I do think that would be an appropriate G1 final.
I mean, that I would be super excited for it. Takeshita last year. Zach the year before that. Who was it the year before that? Naito? Or Okada?
Yes. It was Naito, because he challenged Sanada in the main event, didn't he?
Right. So there's one name that we're mentioning that we haven't talked about, that hasn't won this. Now, again, what the scenario that we laid out with the young guys making it to the final, I think that would be a definite flag, marker in both guys' career and the future of the company. Absolutely, I truly believe that. That said, Yota Tsuji's never won G1. Would they do that? Would they say, I guess
that would be giving him too much. I think the first of these next generation guys to win a G1 Climax is a big accolade.
I agree,
and I think Shota's your guy.
Right, and he's already kind of climbed a mountain by being your world champion. True, too. Okay, yeah, let's divide up the pie a little bit. I'd be pumped for that. I really would. I'd be pumped for that, and I wouldn't be surprised, Joel, if come Chicago and then when they fly back to the state, or Japan rather, for the remainder of G1, I would not be surprised if both of those guys are the typical start cold and warm up as the tournament goes, and now we're on fire, both guys. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that happen.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Right. Ren Narita is starting the G1
Climax.
4-0.
Right. 4-0. Yeah, no doubt. Bank on that, kids. When Chris Samsa pops out the G1 pick'ems, just keep this little bit of audio in mind. Keep those guys cold as hell. Keep those guys cold as a frozen chicken. And then, again, they're heating them up. And, yeah, Ren, yeah, he's probably starting out at least 3-0. Bank on that.
Yeah, Troy's question earlier said, is Tanahashi's grand plan as president to make Hontai guys suffer for years? Watto, Shota, and Yuya. That does seem to be the playbook, but it's hard not to look at where Shota is now and think, is it actually, it might be working. I think it's working.
It's amazing how sometimes you just fucking trip over your own feet, but you wind up right in line where you need to be. Again, we might not always agree with how we get there, Joe, but we're kind of on the right path, right? It feels like.
Yeah. There's some wrestlers where it fits them better to just win stuff the first time. But there are some wrestlers who need to go through the struggle. And yeah, maybe it's a bit of paint by numbers to tell that kind of story. But like, do you think they've done that with Yota Tsuji? Has he,
to a certain degree,
had the suffer booking? Not to the extent that Shota has at all.
No. Yeah, no, he's definitely had a little bit more of a cleaner path.
So they're not doing it with everyone, are they?
No, not with everybody. But here's the thing too, like they had to get the title off of fucking Takeshita, right? Like I think we all would agree with that. And I still will, I'll fight the battle of Yota Tsuji winning the title. He had to win the title, and he was the right guy to win the title, and he's still the right guy to be the champion. Like that's like I kind of feel like not like they were just kind of stepping pedal to the metal with the guy, but like they needed to do that, and they needed to do that when they did it. Again, I don't think that Shota, and any of this was in the works. In fact, I think just the opposite. I think they were hoping like, okay, let's fucking shotgun this guy, and he's our main event in Wrestle Kingdom, and everything. We'll all be doing fucking moonwalks to the bank. Well, okay, that didn't happen, and in fact, it was pretty much poo-pooed by most people. But it is amazing how those negative moments, real life, helped kind of make this even more interesting than it would have been any other way. And I'm sorry that the guy had to go through fucking hell during that time period. Like, that had to be just fucking every day lacing up the boots, being like, oh, what the fuck? Like, he could be doing Salaryman videos. He's
in a lot of ways, like the layout of this match against Callum Newman was like a microcosm of his time in New Japan, isn't it? Because he's fighting, giving everything, and just constantly getting slapped and spat at.
Body language, yeah.
Just when you think he's like turning the tide, he's getting somewhere. He's getting tossed off the edge of the ring and smashed through tables. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then finally, when that happened, right, when he got smashed in the tables, I was like, oh, well, he's definitely winning now. No way is he taking a bump like that and not winning this match. And then he just fucking lost in the end. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
But in the same breath, I will also say that, New Japan's MO for, the past couple decades has been big time foreign faction leading heel. And they needed to make that happen as well. So, I mean, these are all guys that they're banking on for years, it feels like. So, yeah, I mean, all of them were in the mix, and all of them got a certain level of, okay, here's a little bit more fuel in that rocket. And this time it was Callum's time to shine, gets the cup, and then we're establishing him as the dominant force in that faction that for a long time, Joel, I mean, it was, a lot of us were even shocked that they were even a thing at a certain point. All the fucking group text nonsense that was going on. And just all the fucking if I say nonsense one more time, let me know. Just head scratching stuff, laughable stuff, embarrassing stuff. So, you couldn't find him. He was lost. I'm sure he felt as if the company didn't give a fuck, or like, what am I doing? I'm thousands of miles from home. What the fuck is happening here? And people saying he's not ready, and people saying that he's trying to be a Will Ospreay clone or whatever. Like he's becoming onto himself like a true piece of the puzzle here. And the fact that they went with him for the cup, like you said, if we're dividing the pie up, I'm okay with this. I think here's the thing. I think everybody in the semifinals came out with a lot of shine and came out with a lot more fuel in that fucking jetpack, because at the very least, Joel, every one of them felt like, okay, now they're a threat. Everyone, even if they didn't before, everyone feels like even more of a threat for any title and a serious part of New Japan. And again, if we're banking on these guys for years, think about where we are next year. And think about where we are in 2 years. I know we've said this a lot in the past 6 years, but like we're en route. We're chugging along. I like it.
Yeah, there was an interesting comment on our Discord actually from Violent Skipping, who says he was wondering if this is another. Well, it was actually in response to what I was talking about Oiwa, and he said he was wondering if it was another symptom of the Tanahashi retirement delay. Remember that theory we'd heard that Tanahashi's retirement show was a year later than it was supposed to be, but that everyone had their booking plans lined up, but then everything had to be stretched out for a year. So basically everyone was treading water for a year until they got to the point where they're originally going to be for the Tanahashi retirement. And Callum Newman, I don't think would have been penciled in for that, but as a result of all these guys leaving, result of David Finlay leaving and Evil leaving and Gabe Kidd leaving, suddenly New Japan's in a position where there's no top heel in the company anymore. It's not Ren Narita. He's not that guy. And I wondered with Callum, because I heard he signed this 3-year contract. And I thought, okay, well, they've got 3 years, right? There's no need to rush now. So that was my rationale. I thought he wasn't going to win the New Japan Cup, that he'd come close, but then he can sort of use that failure and resentment to sort of bubble away and do something with Will Ospreay. But I have to say, I love the fact that they're just going full steam ahead with him, because one, they need a new top heel in the company.
Right.
And two, why drag your feet on this? You've got 3 years. Let's get him to where he needs to be now and make some money off of him and learn from the mistakes of what they've done with previous guys where they have dragged their feet and done the glacial booking. Whereas, a guy like Gabe Kidd should have been, probably his push should have been accelerated as soon as that Kenny Omega match finished. And who knows, maybe things would have been different, but at the very least, we would have probably got a more exciting and dramatic run out of it than the run that he did get, where it all sort of fizzled out. So I'm under no illusions that when this 3-year contract is up, there are going to be people offering big money to Callum Newman. And let's be realistic, David, he's probably going to take it. So while we've got him for 3 years, let's do it. Let's cook.
Yep. Again, if we can, I agree. Like, just shit or get off the pot with him specifically, because you desperately need it. And again, him winning isn't to the detriment of anyone else. Like it.
No, it helps the others.
Thank you.
We discussed, I think.
Yep. Yeah. It's I think it was a really wise move, actually. Really wise move, because it does shotgun him into a position of, okay, if we didn't think so before, we got to be serious about him, and he's a guy that will now be in the mix for just about anything you could throw at him. So, yeah, I think the jury is.
What do you think of the matches? Because I've heard people, and I think this is a valid criticism, that tends to rush things at time. And I know the character's like the Prince of Pace, so he's not doing the pace thing anymore. But do you feel he might benefit from slowing things down a bit and working to that more sort of not methodical style, but just sort of taking his time with it to make those big moments and big spots pop and land harder? Or do you see no problems at all with his in-ring work, and you think, yeah, he is delivering what you expect from a tippy-top New Japan main event style match already at the tender age of, what is he, 23? I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a problem. Truth be told, watching the match, like I didn't feel that. In fact, I might have felt a little bit of the opposite of he was really leaning into, hey everyone, I'm a fucking heel, like with all the potty language and the spitting and the setting up.
I had to turn this. Esther came into it. I was watching the final this morning, and Esther snuggled up to me in bed and wanted to watch it as well. And like every time we got hit, Callum's like, "Fuck!" And I'm like, "Oh!" to turn the volume down.
There was one loud one. I think he took like a suplex on the floor, and he was like, "Oh, fuck me!" And that was very loud. That is not appropriate viewing for a child, Joel. Please. Yes, but I think honestly. I would have to kind of go back and watch, and maybe some of his next bigger spotlight matches. I'll kind of keep an eye on it, but no, I didn't think it was anything where it was like super rushy and indie looking pro wrestling where it's spot, and there's no breath in between. Nah, I didn't get that feel. Maybe I wasn't looking intensely at that element, but again, just in hindsight, I'm kind of like, well, I feel like maybe it's just the opposite of. Sometimes I thought he was leaning a little bit too much in. Okay, we get it. You're the heel. It's kind of like Gabe with the fucking. Oh, I'm a madman. We get it.
I do like the kind of heel thing he's going for. Like it's not as overt as House of Torture. It's like momentary split-second bits of misdirection that turn the tide of the match in his favor, rather than being like as explicit as sneaking a weapon into the ring and hitting the opponent with a weapon that leads directly to the finish of the match. So it's more of a sort of a Jay White style cheating than House of Torture style cheating, and I like that because I think kayfabe terms, he's not the finished article. He's not one of the top wrestlers in the company, and he needs to take these little shortcuts to give him the edge in close competitive matches against his peers. So I think it works for him.
Yeah, it's a smugness. It's a you got here by being using your brain maybe a little bit more than your brawn, right? And setting up matches so that you can take advantage of, referees out of position and shit like that. So yeah,
and also grooming Zane J for the spot when Callum does eventually leave.
That's not a bad thing either, right? I think again, Empire is. That was on life support, and the fact that there is it feels like a faction again, and it feels like a cohesive faction as opposed to this. Who knows what it is? Yeah, I think he's going to be. I think where they're putting their poker chips, I'm pretty happy with, and it feels like I don't know. It kind of got me a little bit more pumped up for G1. It really has, because you kind of see the cards out on the table. Tell me who else is primed for that G1 position. I think we're looking at some young guys taking the next step. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's thrilling, isn't it? First of all, the fact that these 4 young guys were put in the semi-finals and they have all delivered. Right, I think all 4 of them knocked it out of the park. I thought the match quality in all 3 matches was exceptional. So now we've got 4 guys who, just by virtue of being in this spot, I'm not going to say they're made men, but they look like serious threats in the heavyweight division. Plus your champion Yota Tsuji, plus whatever Takeshita happens to be doing.
Plus your tags.
Season. Yeah, and then you got Yuto, Ice, and Oscar. We've got whatever Aaron Wolf happens to be doing. Oiwa as well. Plus the veterans like Zach and Goto. And suddenly there's a lot of uncertainty, and it's thrilling to me. This is really exciting. This is exactly what I wanted New Japan to be. And again, perhaps lends further credence to the Tanahashi year delay theory, when we're all tearing our hair out thinking what the fuck are they doing? Because we're here now. This is it. This is the promised land.
Yeah. And I think there are people that recognize that, something's bubbling, right? I smell something cooking. And yet, I feel like the people that are there there is this general, and it's not a gatekeepy thing, and it's not a smugness. It is a, hey guys, take a look, right? We're boiling over here. Like it, maybe not boiling yet, but like you can see it's heating up, and that feels good. And you're right. The element of listen, we've been through hell and high water these past 6 years. And there is a little bit of nervousness associated with all of this. And please don't fuck this up. Please don't fuck this up. And every time what feels like a little misstep, yes, we are quick to fucking panic because of what we've gone through. Like there have been many times where you think, oh, we are finally out of the water. And nope, here comes another fucking wave to knock us right on over. And you're like, why? What are we doing?
I don't know how they could fuck it up though. What's the worst case scenario here? Because it seems like they've hit this perfect storm of all these guys, like senior guys, have left, and all that they have remaining to them are this roster of young, hungry, talented wrestlers, and they've got no choice but to build the company around them because everyone else is gone.
Well, again, the fear, true from a booking perspective, like that they have to go with the hand that they were dealt, and trust me, they have good cards. Don't get me wrong, but things can go south, dude. And again, I'm not here to jinx anything, but like injuries can happen, or anything can happen with this fucking company. Anything can happen. They might get a fucking house of torture itching their ass, and like, oh, we got to fucking do something silly. Again, Joe, Ren Narita's still out there. I was going to say
that is the only plausible, terrible idea that is on the table at this point, and that is belting out Ren Narita, and I can't rule it out.
No, you cannot. You cannot, and that has to give you some pause. Again, truth be told, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like we're on the path, and I think if Ren Narita were in the mix, he would have had a little bit more of a brighter light. He might have been one of the semifinalists if that was their plan. It doesn't feel like it is, though. But again, this company's wacky, and they might do shit that, again, Ren Narita's out there. Don Fale's out there, Joel. I don't know if you know that, too. He's always lurking in the wings.
Do you have any further thoughts on the final itself, the match between Callum Newman, Yuya Uemura?
I like the match a lot, and I can't wait for 2 years when we see it again. It was incredibly promising. I thought both guys were. I thought it was a really good match. I thought it was a solid final. Was it one of the greatest ones of all time? No. But I think I'm more excited about what it meant to the company as opposed to, boy, I got a boner from this match, right?
Yes. Yeah. I think, like dissecting, the moves of the match and the intricacies of that, I think it's less interesting than looking at the big picture stuff here.
Yeah, and trust me, I think this was a big picture show where you could, once again, stick a flagpole in it and be like, ooh, okay, here's where it felt like things were kicking off. So, yeah, I think that's where the importance lies.
So Violent Skipping says, how does Damon feel the semis and finals stack up to the type of matches he was saying New Japan doesn't want to do anymore on the last pod? Do you feel the semis and finals succeeded in setting those four up to take their next steps in the way you were hoping?
Good question. And fair question. No. I wouldn't put this, in like some of the... Again, none of these matches are going to be ones where you're going to dial back and be like, okay, these were one of the greatest matches in, the 2000s, let alone, or 2020 is. How do you even say what we are in the 20s? I don't know. I doubt it, right? That said, again, I think think the more. Well, let me answer the question. No, I don't think that did anything for me personally to say that okay, we're in this upper stratosphere of pro wrestling matches with where New Japan is right now, right? And I think that's fair because we're talking about a period of pro wrestling that you could argue being one of the greatest. And again, it's an unfair comparison, I feel like. But if we're comparing, no, we're not there. That said, I don't think the matches were bad. I thought the matches were very good. With guys that haven't had the bright spotlight shined on them a lot. I mean, again, we've talked about certain cases where it was there and it didn't work out. But by and large, we're really starting to heat things up with these guys, and we're giving them the opportunities to show what they have. So more of that. That's only going to get better. Like I don't like this show was the floor, not nowhere near the ceiling of what these guys can do. This is the floor, and it was very good. So again, ask me this in 2 years, and we might very well be talking about holy shit. I mean, we could talk about it in the same breath as we talked about the heyday. And the good news is that like we have years of this potentially. That's exciting. We have a solid floor, and it's only going to get better.
Burning Hammer says, out of context question, how long do you think Honma will continue being active in the ring before retirement? Same question for Ishii.
I think Ishii's just a like you talk about fucking knucklehead. I think he's just, I don't think he knows no better. And he's going to go until they put him in the fucking ground, I think. Honma, they bring him out for these multi-man tags, and even now it's a very much like, oh brother, come on,
I do wonder if there are a lot of these guys waiting for Tanahashi to retire before they retired, and now that Tanahashi's gone, that might kind of open the retirement floodgates. Like all this Yujiro stuff, that could be a precursor to retirement. I don't know.
Could be. But yeah, Honma, he's always been one of those guys that like, especially like with a lot of the injury shit, like you're just worried about, like you're more worried about him in the ring. Like you don't enjoy watching his matches because you're like one fucking bump and this guy's going to get carted out on a stretcher. And that's not fun. Like I don't enjoy that. I kind of wish you would. And I get it. You're it's in your blood. It's in your fucking, it's who you are. I get it. Man, there's got to be something in that company that guy can do aside from getting in the ring. And he's in multi-man tag matches and all that shit, but even then, it's getting to be like, all right, dude, let's hang it up here because I'm worried about you. One wrong bump and we're in a whole heap of trouble.
And the in-context question is, as Uemura did not win the cup, is he set to win the G1? And yeah, who are your very early picks to win the G1 considering the current fluctuation of talent?
Wouldn't be surprised if it's Shota, dude. I would not be surprised. I would go, honestly, early picks, Shota or Yuya. Like I think those two guys are who I'm leaning on heavily this summer.
Last one here, Mega Will says, what have you made of Wolf's performances in the tournament and undercard?
His drinking seems to be up to par. I appreciate that.
Yes. That's one thing I have heard. He's out drinking with the boys. He's good at that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you got to build relationships in this business, Joel. What was the question? I'm sorry. Aaron Wolf, his performance where, what, who, how?
In the tournament and undercard, I think people are over-indexing this. Like, again, he's a rookie wrestler and he has not had any singles matches with people beyond the scope of House of Torture. So let's wait. I want to wait and see what his matches look like, singles matches against non-House of Torture people before I start drawing conclusions about him, because everyone is very quick to, we're in the kind of society where people want to have the early hot take. Everyone's in such a rush to be right, be like, I was the first person who said he was going to be a complete bust and I was correct. Rah, rah, rah. Whereas just acknowledge the fact that we are working with a very, very small sample size here, and we're going to have to be patient and wait and let it play out. And again, everything that I've heard is that he's doing really well, and he's progressing well, and he's listening to the right people, and he's one of the boys who's got the right attitude towards things. So I'm enthused by seeing him being Taichi's drinking buddy. If he's Taichi's drinking buddy, then he's on the right track. Because if Taichi ends up being his mentor, then we're going to have a hell of a wrestler on our hands.
Yeah, he's going to come out singing, lip singing. I think everyone's worries is it's not the wrestler, it's what he's doing and what they've done when it comes to how he's being presented and all of that.
Look, people, he's not going to be feuding with House of Torture forever.
Right.
Should be grateful that he's getting that out of the way early.
Right. That's another thing too. This is not going to be Jimmy Valiant, Paul Jones blood feud for 60 years. I think he's fine. If you have worries about his in-ring abilities, put them aside. If you are concerned with, hey, we had a bit of a moment there and we didn't really capitalize on it, I hear you loud and clear. But like at this point in ring, I think we're fine. We're fine.
And your predictions, please, for League Cup final tomorrow. Arsenal,
right.
Man City.
Fucking Arsenal, baby. Fucking Arsenal. Arsenal by... I don't want to give Joel a fucking heart attack. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do like a 2-1 gimmick.
God, imagine if it goes to penalties. I will actually die in the stadium.
Yeah. Well, first of all, have a great time. That's going to be a fucking great day. 2-1 win.
I'll take that. I just want to fucking smash those money cheat scumbags. See, I don't want them to have any joy. No success. I want to see the dynasty crumble.
Let's go.
And
this is FA Cup?
This is the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup, the League. I don't even know what it's called these days, but yeah, okay. The League Cup.
All right. And we are about, 7 games out, or 7 games up? 7 points up, should I say?
Yep. 7 games left in the Premier League, still in the FA Cup quarterfinals and Champions League quarterfinals. So plenty to play for.
Let's go get them, boys. Go get them. I'll be rooting for you. I'll be. I'm sure it's on somewhere tomorrow. I'll pop that on in the morning, and I'll be living vicariously through you, Joe. Oh, and by the way, speaking of living vicariously, if you stuck around this long, I'm booked. I'll be going to Chicago for G1. So obviously, we'll be talking more about that as the days get closer. But I will be in the house with the rest of the VOW crew, Chris Samsa as well. So. Exciting times are ahead this summer. So if you are thinking about it and maybe just hearing my voice, put you get your credit card out and bang out some travel trip. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. G1 opening night in Chicago.
All right, I need a poo now, so we'll see you next week.
Hello, Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network listeners. I am Jeff Hawkins, co-host of Shake Them Ropes, with a very special announcement. If it's been a while or you've never listened to us before, the original gang is back. Myself and Rob McCarran, back talking wrestling. We have no idea where this show's going to go, where we're going to keep any of the old bits or any of the old things in there. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a journey, and we'd like for you to come along with us. Only on Shake Them Ropes on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.